When I was a young boy, my brother and I had a paper route. I worked really hard to get myself a new bike, which I was very proud of. One day, however, my brother and I were outside of an arcade and I left the bike unlocked, only to come back and find out that somebody had stolen my brand new bike. I was in shock. They had left an old junky bike in its place, which I quickly jumped on and got back home with tears streaming down my eyes to tell my dad and mom that my bike had been stolen. My dad and I immediately jumped in the car and began circling the neighborhood, hoping that we would find somebody riding that bike.
I was with a neighbor at the time, and she and I immediately began to pray in Jesus' name that the thief would be caught and that bike would be returned, even to our front door.
We called the police and told them what happened. Kid, this is a city with over 200,000 people. We have murderers, car thieves, violent crimes that we're investigating. A stolen bike isn't exactly the top of our priority list. But if anything turns up, we'll let you know. I was heartbroken, and I knew that only God was going to help me get my bike back.
But Zach was determined to get his bike back. Every night we prayed together before bedtime. Every time I went to a Bible study or prayer meeting, Zach asked them to please pray that he would get his bike back. He even waited in a long line after a Sunday evening service to be able to pray with the pastor of our church. After about 3 weeks of consistently praying, Zach turned to me sadly one night from his top bunk and said, "God didn't answer my prayer, did he, Mom?" And I was about to say, "Well, Zach, sometimes God doesn't give us what we want." But instead, the Lord checked me in my spirit and said, "No, tell him the story of the persistent widow."
After many months, I got to the point where I forgot all about my new bike and just accepted the loss. It seemed that God hadn't answered the prayer, although I didn't know why. But then one day, many months later, a new young man was going to take over my paper route because I was going on vacation. As I began to train this young man, one day he shows up with a bike. It was my bike. His older brother had stolen it, and he had ridden it to my house that morning to be trained at the paper route. God had literally delivered my bike back to my very front doorstep. And I want to encourage you that if God cared enough about a young man's bike, how much more will he answer your prayers for your family, your loved ones, your health, and his kingdom's purposes? God bless you.